All right, guys, well, I'm back today with an overview of my opinion, anyways, of what is going on in the industry when it comes to pricing, as well as a broader perspective of what I've been seeing personally. And I've done a lot of research for this video. We are going to dig in on what's going on in the industry itself, of price fluctuations, where trajectories are heading when it comes to pricing of different items, as well as ways to save and take advantage of a lot of good buying opportunities. One of the first things I want to discuss is a few market factors that I've been digging into that may relate and translate to this particular industry and ways you can plan ahead. Again, this is not financial advice by any means, just some guy with a cell phone and an internet connection discussing what I've been seeing, because I've been really trying to dig in and get a lot of good opportunities for you guys to save money, and a lot of that requires some extra research, so I figured I'd share it with you in today's video. One of the first things that we've all heard about is the interest rate rise, and especially in that mortgage and home interest rate rise seems to be the highest it's been since about 2008. So you start to see that affect the way homeowners are buying things, and that starts to trickle into other parts of the market as well. So just one of those points to consider, but not really a defining factor in this particular industry. Another thing, though, that may affect this is personal savings rates are hovering around 4.6% in February, which is definitely below the average of 8.9%. Now, it's not the lowest they've ever been. We did see some really low rates in June of 2022, which dipped to 2.7%, which was a 15-year low. But it's still only 1 percentage point higher than that, so you're definitely looking at a reduced savings rate, or a reduced rate that people are saving, which then indicates, well, they may not be as comfortable spending on kind of expendable items, different things like these right here, and they may be spending for more necessities or just cutting back spending in general. So these start to kind of all weigh in on that extra money that people have. You also see indicators in different industries, like the car industry, which is the repo rate is on the rise. So even if people had bought things, they're starting to lose those items if there were payments involved. And you can start seeing that in the auto industry with kind of repo rates increasing. Now, a lot of these sources will be in the description if you want to dig in. And again, I'm not trying to start an argument over the economy, but just some things that I've been seeing and trends that I've been seeing lately, which will be a good indicator for summer. I'm also going to tie those trends into the industry itself and what generally happens on a cyclical basis, and kind of bring it all in at the end. And the last thing I kind of want to discuss about is the total debt balance. Now, when you're looking at debt, I'm looking at household debt, which is going to be very specific and expendable income. Now, all of that debt is on a rise, and it's really at an all-time high. Now, you do see trends in housing debt starting to increase and auto loan debt starting to increase, but generally, credit card debt, Q1 of the year will decline, but this actually remained flat, meaning people are not paying off their balances. So generally, you're going to see balance declines in the first quarter, but you did not. You saw credit card debt remaining constant, which is another indicator that people aren't going to be spending as much, because again, their savings are pretty low as indicated by the savings report, and their credit card debt remained flat and actually increased over the past few years. So you're starting to see things pile up, and I'm getting some real world understanding of what's going on. I've been talking to a lot of different shop owners here recently about people bringing in pawns, and they're bringing in pawns at a very alarming rate. They're actually backfilling shelves. They don't have enough inventory room on the shelves, so they are paying dramatically low prices for things, which is an indicator when those pawns come due of the prices that the consumer is going to see on the shelves. I've already seen massive price drops on a lot of different items online, and that's also starting to take effect in local pawn shops. So you're starting to see things drop in price and shelves filling up. So I would say in about 3 to 4 weeks or a month or two, when those pawns come due and people aren't making payments, they're either going to extend them or they're going to end up on the shelves. And that is a not a good thing for the people who are taking loans out on these items, but that would be a good thing for the consumer who is trying to acquire more items. Also, another thing is the panic has kind of ended for the average population when it comes to these tools right here. So what I'm talking about is I've never seen the ownership of these items on the rise like I did through 2020 and 2021. Everybody was discussing it. Everybody was asking me questions. Everybody was purchasing this. Just anecdotally, when I was at work, I had so many people that I did not know that were interested in these tools became interested for personal defense. Since then, other things started taking precedence. The world has maybe calmed down to them and their perspective, so they're not quite as concerned about what's going on, and they're more concerned about making mortgage payments, auto payments that were, again, those rates are at an all-time high. Prices were at an all-time high for vehicles and used vehicles, so now they're more concerned about that, and they are selling these items, and that's another thing I've been seeing locally is people are selling things they bought in 2020 and 2021. And that's not only in this industry, but across the board. You also see things like campers, boats going up for sale at incredibly low prices and dealers cutting prices on those, which is an indicator that people are not spending on those extras, and they're actually liquidating what they have to generate cash flow to meet those monthly payments on things they have. Again, this is not financial advice, but one man's personal opinion on what I'm seeing. You also see things like silver prices steadily increasing over time, and they're not the highest they've ever been by any means, but you do see that as another indicator that people are kind of a little bit concerned about what's going on and taking things that are maybe inflation proof. So you start to see things moving kind of in a safer trajectory towards investors and things like that, especially with high interest rate savings accounts. I know I've been personally moving a lot of money into high interest savings accounts, which are, again, at a very high rate. So you start to see people being incentivized to save more and spend less. So these are a lot of different factors that are going on. I also want to discuss a few ways to save because that's what this channel is really about. And one of the ways to save is definitely take advantage of those opportunities at your local shop. Go in and meet the owners, talk to those guys, discuss what's actually coming out in a month or two, and you can kind of get your ducks in a row so you don't have to take out debt to acquire these things and prices will be dropping. The other thing is definitely check out a lot of the information I put on my campsite page, my Patreon page, my Instagram page, and a few others like my newly formed Twitter. Those are going to be finding the best options that I see on the internet, and companies are dramatically dropping prices. You see Turkish imports of 12 gauges dropping at the lowest rates I've ever seen them. I mean, $179 for semi-autos. Then you start seeing other things dropping in price, especially from name brand manufacturers. And again, that information can be found on my campsite page. One place, though, that I'm not seeing price drops is gun shows. So I went to a couple recently, and prices are not dropping there. And I believe they cater to a certain clientele. Maybe somebody showing up in town, really unfamiliar, hearing about one of those shows. They head in and they buy something, not really understanding the pricing of what they're getting. So prices have not dropped there, and that's kind of one of my keys to you guys. I would stay away from them right now unless there's a really good one in your area and you understand pricing before you go in. A lot of times you can get caught up in the climate, caught up in just your surroundings, and make impulse purchases that may not be the best financial decisions. But doing your research online and understanding online pricing before you show up to that or your local shop, and then also understanding you do have transfer fees when you are buying online and transferring it to your shop. So you'll want to search the shops in your area and find the best prices. Also, you can maybe negotiate different transfer fees at your local shop. You know, I know one of my local shops does $50 for the first transfer fee, which seems a little high, but after that, it's $10 per transfer. So if you got two transfers, it's actually only $30 a piece, which is a pretty darn good deal, some of the cheapest in the area. So that's something to consider, and maybe a suggestion and a thought. Maybe if you're going to buy one, you may buy two and just kind of wait to buy the two to save on transfer fees. There's also a lot of things going on this summer. People are traveling on vacation, spending money on vacation, and it's generally the slow time for spending in the industry anyway. So this may be a good opportunity with all of those other factors to save a little bit of money now, wait a couple of weeks, or take advantage of some of these things that are going on right now. There's a lot of good deals to be had as we speak, and I've seen a lot of them dry up and then disappear. So there are opportunities right now, actually a ton of opportunities and more than I've ever seen before, but it's going to be a great time to grab a lot of items. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are you seeing? Where did I miss the mark? Am I completely overlooking something, or am I downplaying something else? I really want to know your opinions, and I want to know your thoughts on these types of videos. All of the information, again, about the best options will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.